Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. As always, I'm very glad to see you here. And as you can see by the title, it's time for part two of my Middle Eastern fragrance collection. So I already did a video where I talked about Middle Eastern fragrances I have in my collection. And today is the day I'm going to talk about more fragrances I added to my list since then. But before I start, my name is Martin and welcome back to this channel, or welcome to this channel if you're new here. I do perfume reviews, so if you're interested in such content, then please consider subscribing. I talk about all types of perfumes, designer fragrances and niche fragrances. Lately a lot about Middle Eastern fragrances because I just can't stop wearing and smelling these fragrances and I really enjoy them. So yeah, I added a lot of fragrances, add 8 fragrances actually to my fragrance collection that are Middle Eastern, and most of them are actually Lattafas, but there are also different brands. So yeah, let's get started. The first fragrance I'm going to talk about is a fragrance I already talked about. So by the way, I actually did reviews where I already talked about most of these fragrances, but I felt like let me do a part two with all the fragrances I just added to my collection. And this is the first one. So this is Detour Noir by Haramain. And this is a vanilla fragrance with lavender in here. This is supposed to be a dupe for Layton by Parfums de Marly. And yeah, it's a very beautiful scent. It's masculine, very refreshing. You have a beautiful apple note, so it's very fruity in the opening especially, and then it gets more creamy and more powdery. It is long lasting. I get around 7 to 8 hours. So yes, inexpensive. I paid 21 or 22 euros. I'm not sure because there are a lot of fragrances and I don't really know how much I paid, but it's very inexpensive, like actually all the fragrances I'm going to talk about. So I feel like all the fragrances here are under 30 euro. So inexpensive, great quality, very long lasting, definitely a people pleaser. And in my opinion, that's a fragrance that's very easy to grab and wear, very easy to wear. People will enjoy smelling this. This is, as I said, a compliment getter and definitely something that's also good for like a date night or overall for a signature scent. It's an all-rounder, very well blended, and just great quality. I really recommend this one a lot. So this is the first fragrance. The second fragrance I'm going to talk about is this one here, Ramz Gold by Lattafa. So this is the red one. There is also, I think, the black one with silver. This is red with the gold cap. And this is a fruity fragrance. Let me show the atomizer. Very beautiful. I get peach, I get rose. It has a musky vanilla kind of dry down. In my opinion, a little feminine leaning, but still unisex. As I already mentioned in another video, to me this is like the red version of Herba Pura. I feel like if Xerjoff had a red version of Herba Pura, it would probably smell like this one here. So very fruity. It is woody. It is very creamy as well. Elegant and sophisticated, and I feel like women will enjoy this fragrance a lot. I mean, I wear this fragrance as well, but I feel like it's a little feminine leaning, but as I said, also still unisex and also very inexpensive. I ordered this one for, I think it was 25 euro or even less than that, but yeah, very inexpensive. And as I always say, it just always depends where you order the fragrances. I feel like mostly in Austria, where I live, I purchase fragrances online. They're mostly very inexpensive. So yes, give this one a try if you like fruity fragrances with rose, and if you enjoy peach as a note, because you will get peach a lot in this fragrance. So the third fragrance I'm going to talk about is actually a fragrance I added recently to my collection. It's this one here, Craze by Armaf. And this is a very unique fragrance in my opinion. It's a little hard to describe. Very beautiful because you get almond, you get bitter almond actually, lavender, and a lot of vanilla. So this is supposed to be a dupe for Pegasus by Parfums de Marly. To me, it smells a lot like Hypnotic Poison by Dior. And I actually really like Hypnotic Poison, and I have this fragrance in my collection as well. And I like to layer these two together. Very beautiful. So it is, I feel like, the more masculine version of Hypnotic Poison. And in my opinion, it's powdery, it's creamy, it's actually very powdery and slightly soapy. It has that cosmetic kind of smell, which I do like. It's very polished. in my opinion, not really masculine. It's definitely unisex fragrance, and you get bitter almond and a lot of vanilla, and I do like it. I think it's perfect for fall and winter, so just for the colder days. Also great for layering. I get around, I would say, 6 to 7 hours. I don't know, to me this is not a very long lasting or extremely long lasting fragrance, even though when I watched the reviews many people said that this is like a beast mode fragrance and they get 10 to 12 hours. I don't get 10 to 12 hours, but I do get a long lasting fragrance. And you do have to keep in mind it has like a slight metallic opening. It's very hard to describe, and it's probably the lavender and the bitter almond, especially the bitter almond, that's going to give you that kind of alcoholy metallic vibe, but it dries down after several minutes and then you're left with a beautiful vanilla fragrance. So this is the third one. The next fragrance I'm going to talk about, and I feel like this is my all-time favorite. I just can't get enough of this fragrance, and it's Qaed al Fursan by Lattafa. I already did a review on this fragrance. I used to wear this fragrance a lot in the summer, and it's just a beautiful pineapple scent. Like, this is the most authentic and realistic pineapple I've smelled so far. Let me show you the atomizer. The atomizer is okay. The scent, it's just so fruity. You get saffron in the opening. You get that kind of aromatic touches, like birch top, for example, is in here. Like, it's a little green, but definitely very fruity. As I said, pineapple and saffron. To me, this smells a little bit like Hajivat by Nishane, but it's not a dupe. It also has that vibe of Baccarat Rouge by 40 and also Aventus Creed. So I feel like if you like Baccarat Rouge, or if you enjoy also Aventus Creed or Nishane, then you're going to love this fragrance. You should definitely give this fragrance a try. It's also very inexpensive. I paid around, I think it was 12 or 13 euros, so it's very inexpensive, but the blend is fantastic. It's very well blended, high quality. You definitely get niche quality. It's very people pleasing, and I actually get the most compliments when I wear this fragrance. My boyfriend also enjoys this fragrance a lot, and I mean, I like to smell this fragrance on myself and also on other people. And every time when I wear this and a person complimented me, they just ended up to order this fragrance because it's just so beautiful and inexpensive. And that's what I just personally love about Middle Eastern fragrances, that they're very inexpensive but high quality and long lasting. So yeah, this is the next one. So there are 4 more fragrances left. This one here I reviewed recently. It's that Al Khulood by Lattafa, and this is straight up strawberry. It's very sweet. You have sugar and you have strawberry in here. Beautiful white florals. You have tuberose and jasmine in here, and vanilla. Definitely a lot of vanilla. It is a very long lasting fragrance. It projects a lot, like it's overwhelming actually, so you do have to keep in mind, don't overspray with this one here especially. To me, this is not like a fragrance I like to wear a lot, because I've been barely wearing this fragrance, but I layer it a lot with other fragrances, and I feel like this is just a fragrance I prefer layering with other ones. And yes, definitely on the feminine side, because it is super sweet and you have strawberry, but I feel like a man can pull this one off. And yeah, as I said, long lasting, also very inexpensive. This one is not even 20 euro. I don't remember the price right now, but it's, as I said, also very inexpensive, but it doesn't smell cheap at all. This is kind of duping, or not really, it actually goes into the direction of Gucci Rush. But I wouldn't say that this is like the perfect dupe, but still very sweet. You get the strawberry, and I feel like this is a beautiful date night scent for a woman especially. I feel like this is very sensual, it is seductive, and that fruitiness and sweetness is definitely something I would like to smell, whether it's a woman or a man. I just think it's a very enjoyable fragrance overall, so you can't do really a lot wrong with this fragrance, but you do have to like the super sweet fragrances, because as I said, you have the sugar in the opening and it kind of gets and stays sugary, and with the strawberry in here, very fruity. So the next fragrance I'm going to talk about is Qaed by Lattafa, and this one here is definitely a fragrance I'm going to wear a lot in the winter and also fall. I already talked about this fragrance when I did a video where I was talking about fragrances I recommend for the fall and winter. So this is a boozy fragrance. boozy fragrance with spices, with saffron. It's very leathery, very beautiful. Like really for the colder days, I think it's perfect. It has like a slight sweetness. It's on the more masculine side in my opinion. And I really like the bottle actually. I think it looks very luxurious. It's also very heavy. It kind of looks a little bit like Icon by Dunhill. And it's also supposed to dupe this fragrance, but I haven't tried Icon by Dunhill, so I don't really know. By the notes, it's also very similar to Ombre Leather by Tom Ford. So this could probably be like a mixture of different fragrances. I feel like it's a fragrance on its own. It is very unique. I haven't smelled a fragrance like that so far here in Vienna at least. But yes, I do recommend this one if you like spicy fragrances, if you like long-lasting fragrances, because this is long-lasting. I do get around 7 to 8 hours. I wouldn't say this is a beast mode fragrance, but at least a beautiful scent trail. And yes, that's it pretty much about this one here. So there are two more fragrances, and I'm going to talk about Amethyst by Lattafa, and this is just such a beautiful fragrance. And this, in my opinion, this is like the most long-lasting fragrance I've tried so far by Lattafa. I don't know what it is, but this fragrance just lasts all the time, on clothing especially, like a whole week. Every time when I passed by my wardrobe, I could smell the blazer when I was wearing this fragrance. I wore a blazer and I could smell this fragrance all the time only by passing. So it just leaves a beautiful scent trail, definitely. It is a little feminine leaning, but still unisex, and you just have a beautiful rose note in here. Very luxurious. I would never think that this is less than €30 because this performs and smells like a super expensive fragrance. This is a dupe for Amethyst by Initio, and I do think it's a very good dupe in my opinion, especially for that price. So yes, it is long lasting, it projects a lot. This is also a little overwhelming, so you shouldn't overspray with this one here. And this is also a fragrance my mother loves a lot, and I say that because my mother isn't really like the type of person that likes a lot of fragrances, but when I wore this one here, she like followed me. She was like, oh my god, what are you wearing? I need to have this fragrance. And I actually gave her another bottle, and she really enjoys this fragrance a lot. So this really says something. When my mother says that she likes a fragrance, then it really, there's something behind that for sure. And I really recommend this one if you're looking for also like a fall winter fragrance. I think you could pull this one off also in spring. In summer, not so much. And if you're looking for something that is seductive, romantic, and if you like rose fragrances, then this is definitely something you should try. And the last fragrance I'm going to talk about is actually not really something I've been wearing a lot since I bought it, and this is Club de Nuit Milestone by Armaf. I mean, I love the bottle. I do. It's a very heavy bottle. I don't really like the stones on it. I think this makes it a little tacky. But other than that, I do think that the bottle looks nice. The spray is okay. And the smell isn't really bad. I just don't really know what to do with this fragrance. It is basically a salted watermelon fragrance, and I ordered this fragrance a long time ago, but I refused to do a review on this fragrance. Also, when I did a review on my Middle Eastern fragrance collection, because I wasn't really mesmerized by it so far, and I thought, let me give this one a try, and I did, and I still don't really think this is something I enjoy a lot. I still have it in my collection. I like to layer it, but I don't really wear it a lot because since I have so many other fragrances. But this is basically a salted watermelon fragrance. It is fruity, perfect for warmer days. So this is a dupe for Melissima Imperial by Qaed. And in my opinion, it's a great dupe. It smells actually very beautiful, but it's, as I said, not really a fragrance I like to wear a lot. Like somehow it's just on the shelf, and I like to watch it, look at it, but I don't really think this is something I'm actually ever going to wear. But I feel like I'm trying to be optimistic and just leave it in my collection. Maybe the day is going to come, probably next year in summer, I will give this one another try. But I do think, and like this is the tricky part actually, because even though I don't really wear it a lot by myself, this fragrance has a lot of qualities because it is long lasting, it is fruity, it's, I would say, a great unisex fragrance. There's something refreshing about it as well. And I feel like this is an easy to wear fragrance as well, but you do have to like that salty note, which is a kind of metallic, especially in the opening. But yes, I just think I'm going to give this one a few tries and somehow I will make it work. If not, then I will definitely keep you guys updated. But I feel like this is definitely something you should try for like watermelon, especially as a note. And if you don't mind that metallic, kind of synthetic type of note or opening, which is very hard to describe. But yes, other than that, my favorites so far are actually Qaaed al Fursan. So Qaaed al Fursan is definitely a fragrance that's just so amazing. I would recommend everybody out there to try this fragrance. I do think it's a safe blind buy if you just enjoy pineapple fragrances. So this one here, and I also enjoyed so far Qaaed by Lattafa. Definitely for this the fall and the winter, I will try this one more often. I will definitely wear this one, and I just know I'm going to enjoy this fragrance a lot over the next months, and maybe I will rebuy it. And I also like Amethyst by Lattafa. Really a beautiful fragrance, very well blended. You can't do a lot wrong with it. If you just like rose fragrances, then that's something you should try. And yes, but as I said, they're all amazing on their own. They all have some type of qualities. That's the reason why I kept them in my collection. And yes, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. And if you did, then please hit the like button, comment down below, tell me what you think. I would really like to know if you have tried any of these fragrances so far and if you recommend them, if you like them. And I hope to see you guys very soon for another review. Thank you.